Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. Every once in a while, when I'm doing these homemade MRE videos, I get the feeling that I've really accomplished something. And this particular video is one of those occasions. I get a lot of requests from people asking me to go to Target. Of course, Target is that giant department store that seems to have almost everything, not quite as much as Walmart, and what they do have tends to be a little more upscale than Walmart's selections. But even the super Targets that have a grocery store don't always have the greatest selection. And that's what I've run into in the past. I've tried this a couple of times, going through Target and trying to figure out something to put in a homemade MRE, and just walking away disappointed. This time around though, I pulled it off, and in a way that I think is really cool. But before we dive too deep into that, let's cover the rules real quick. Other than the fact that for entertainment purposes only, I like to source everything in this MRE from a single location. And this is just to show that there are places out there you may not have thought of where you can find enough stuff to build an MRE in a pinch. But rule number one is that everything in here must be able to be eaten straight out of the package. Doesn't mean that's how we're going to eat it, just needs to be able to be. No reconstituting or rehydrating or anything like that, the only exception being a beverage. Rule number two is everything in here has to have a minimum of a 1-year shelf life or best by date from the day that I buy it. That's simply to ensure freshness. In the event that this thing gets socked away for a little while and I don't get around to eating it until next year, I want everything to be as fresh as possible. Also, it just kind of adds to the challenge. And finally, rule number three is the menu. This MRE must have an entree, a side, a walking around snack, a dessert, and a beverage. And with that out of the way, let me introduce you to the Dad Budget Adventures Homemade MRE Menu TG1. Now, when I go into a store, usually the first thing that I do is I try to find the entree for the meal, because if I can't find an entree, there's no sense in me searching for everything else. And the entree that I've found is something that's very reminiscent of some other things that we've had in the past, but I very much wanted to go with this one for a very specific reason. Let me get this out here and show you. The item I got for our entree is this Good & Gather Madras lentils. Now, if you're not familiar with it, Good & Gather is the Target store brand, which I thought was really cool that, yes, I'm finding something that is similar to other things that are out there, but it's in a store brand. And the fact that we're doing our MRE from Target, having a Target store brand product in there, I think is going to be a really neat addition. I was really surprised to find this because I haven't found any other stores that have branded these Indian vegetarian meals. We've had things like chickpea curry and chickpea masala and things like that. This is going to be a little different. The Madras lentils, it's lentils and red beans in a creamy tomato sauce. So I'm looking forward to trying this and hoping that it's going to be good. Now, because this is a vegetarian dish and this always becomes an issue for some reason, I found a meat to go with it. And given that I get a lot of comments about the fact that many of these meals are high in sodium, I wanted to try something a little bit different. Target had on sale Starkist Premium White Chicken, and this is the low sodium variety. It's 25% less sodium. So we're gonna give this a try added to that meal. We got 13 grams of protein in here, so it's gonna kick it up a little bit more. Plus, we get around the fact that this is a vegetarian dish and so many people like to have meat options in their MREs. So before we go any further into this, I'm gonna go ahead and get these into the trucker's lunchbox. I've got it preheating back here so that we can speed up the cooking process. We're gonna throw these in there, get them warmed up, and get ready for lunch. Ooh, that's hot. Hot, 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 hot. Now, as our side to go with our entree, I got this minute pre-cooked brown and wild rice combination. This ought to be the perfect addition to go with that meal. Now, a lot of times when I use these pre-cooked rice sides, somebody is always coming in the comments talking about how you're supposed to cook those don't really qualify for your rules. These are completely cooked. You can eat these straight out of this package if you choose to do so. It's going to be more al dente than you might like, but it is edible just like it is. And a lot of times, stirring this in with hot food is enough heat to warm this up to the point where it's satisfactory. But here's the other option. If you don't like the texture of this, you don't have to eat this like this. You can hang on to this, do something else with it down the line. Because of the fact that I usually throw this in a cooker, somebody's always thinking that I'm breaking my own rules. Remember that the rule is this should be able to be eaten. Doesn't mean I've got to. Besides, it's my channel. Do what I want. Next thing we've got up is our walking around snack. This is another Target store brand Good & Gather product, which was the reason I snatched it up as soon as I saw it, other than the fact that I like these kind of things. And what I got was these snack pickles. These are bite-sized kosher dills in brine. They don't have any calories to them. This is not a caloric booster right here. This is a mood booster. This is something to get a little bit of crunch and have something to munch on and fill your belly until the next meal. The brine that comes with these acts as almost like an electrolyte drink. If you're out hiking and you're expending a lot of energy and you're sweating and you're starting to get cramps, the juice that's in these will help remedy that. In fact, there's a lot of companies that sell pickle juice in little shot bottles designed just for helping with leg cramps. So once again, we got store brand. I always think it's cool when we build an MRE from a specific location to include store brands when we can. Our next item is our dessert. And for that, I got one of these Bobo's apple pie stuffed bites. This is like an oat bite that has apple pie filling in the center. Those both sound completely up my alley, so I'm really looking forward to trying that. I've had a couple of Bobo's products in the past and they've always been pretty good, so I don't imagine this is gonna be any different. And finally, our last item in here is our beverage. This is another Good & Gather product. This is the Organic Chai Black Tea Blend. This is a individually packaged tea bag. We've discussed that before. If you can find your tea bags for your MREs in these little sealed pouches, this is the way to go. It keeps the tea inside from absorbing other flavors and weird things out of the packaging from the other stuff. Chai tea is always a good choice. It's got great flavor, and it's always good to have something comfortable and relaxing to sip on at the end of the day. So before we go any further, let me get some hot water going for that tea. We'll get the tea steeping, and then we'll start trying these other items. So let's get this opened up and get our tea going. It's a very rich smelling tea. A lot of that cinnamon, cardamom, and clove kind of smell. It's a very rich smelling tea. I think that's gonna be good stuff. And of course, to make our tea, what do we need? We need the official Dad Budget Adventures bling mug. Let's get this going in here. Also, to make it better, I'm going to add a pouch of the Nate's Raw Honey in here, give it a little bit of sweetness. Chai tea is very good straight, but just having just a little bit of sweetness really makes it better. So while I'm doing this and I'm looking at the official Dad Budget Adventures bling mug, it got me thinking about something. I was wondering, would you, my audience, be at all interested in Dad Budget Adventures merch of any kind? If I did t-shirts or hats, or we won't do these, this is custom, but if we did mugs or something like that, would that be something that you'd be interested in? And if so, what kind of products would you like to have? I thought about doing a t-shirt that maybe has the closing slogan on it, prepare for the world that you live in, not the one you wish existed, and some things like that. So if you have ideas for merch, if you would be at all interested, and if you would buy it if I had it, please pitch in your ideas for what you'd like to see for Dad Budget Adventures merch. All right, while that's steeping, I'm gonna set it aside and let's see what else we've got in here. Really the only other thing besides the tea that we can try at this point is these pickles. Let's open up our Good & Gather snack pickles and see what we've got. Now, one of the things that I love about these kind of packages is that they have this Ziploc top on them. So if you only eat a couple of these, or if you eat all of them and you want to save that juice for later, you have the ability to seal it up and put it back in your pack. That way it's not spilling all over your stuff. Now, these are some good sized pickles in here. Let me get one of these out of here. Kind of expected something a little smaller. Look at that. They have a very strong vinegar smell to them. I mean, it punches you in the face with pickle, I'm gonna tell you that. All right, so let's give this a try. See, are they crunchy? Do they taste good? Target, what have you brought us? All right, so this is one of those products that I don't dislike them, but I feel like they could be a little better. We've had others like this that had a little bit better flavor to them. Now, I love pickles, and I've tried a whole lot of different varieties of them. Kosher is my least favorite, which may be part of what I'm not loving about the flavor of these. They're not bad. They're far from terrible. They just don't have a great flavor to them. If there was another variety of this same pickle available, I'd probably go for that over this particular one. But if you are a fan of kosher dills, I know there are people out there that koshers are their absolute favorite, then you'll probably really like these. They're not my favorite, but I'm not saying I wouldn't use them again. It's not unenjoyable. I do like these. It's just not what I was hoping for. All right, let's give this tea a try and see what we've got here. As a brew, it's got a great smell to it, but it is nowhere near as strong as the bag itself, but it's still a very pleasant aroma. Let's give this a taste, see what we've got here. That's good tea. It's got a smooth flavor to it, good blend of those spices. Nothing's really overpowering anything else. This tea would be really good with something like those shortbread cookies that I like so much. That would be perfect with this. I like that. Good job, Target. All right, let's try another one of these. They're still just okay. Let's seal this up, put it back. Starting to hear some thunder in the background. A little rumbling back there, so things could get interesting in the studio. I think our entree is just about ready. Let's get this out and see what we've got. So the rice got surprisingly warm down here on the bottom just from sitting on top of the trucker's lunchbox. This does radiate a little bit of heat. So we're gonna put lunch on this Hydro Flask plate that was sent to us by one of our viewers off of the Amazon wish list. Let's start getting this out here and see what we have concocted. This plate reminds me, I wanted to present something to you as my audience. You know, I've had the Amazon wish list in the description box of my videos for a long time now. I've had a number of you guys send me some really cool stuff off of that, but I decided that I want to do something a little different with that for a minute. So I've got a really good friend of mine that goes by the call sign Joey the Roadie. Last year, Joey's wife came to me and said, hey, Joey wants to build a bug out bag or a get home bag. And so we're setting aside some tax money for him to do that. And I was wondering if you'd like to film a video with him doing that. And I said, absolutely, I'd love to. Several weeks went by. We weren't able to schedule getting together and doing the project. And in the meantime, life got in the way. Joey had to take all the money that they had set aside for his bag and spend on other things as a responsible parent and adult, which meant that not only did the project not get done, Joey does not have a get home bag or bug out bag as he had hoped to build. While I'm talking about this, I'm going to go ahead and start opening up our food and getting it out on the plate. So what I wanted to do was I want to do something special for Joey. So starting with this video, down in the description box, there's going to be an Amazon wish list for Joey the Roadie's get home bag. I'm picking out a bunch of supplies that I'm putting in that list, and I would love for you, the audience, to help with this project. Go to that list and pick out something. If you can only afford something small, that's great. If you can afford some of the higher end items, that would be amazing too. Those items will be sent to me. I'm going to buy a backpack for Joey out of the ad revenue from this channel. And then I'm going to take all those items and put it in there. And we're going to do an unboxing where we show everything that's in his get home bag once this project is complete. I do have one extra assignment for you as my audience. If you elect to buy one of these items, Amazon gives you the option of sending a gift tag that you can leave a little bit of a message. I would like for you to include in this message why you picked that item, or some kind of trick or hack for using the item that you picked. I would love to get the extra input from the audience for the different items that are in this. And as we do the unboxing, we'll read those cards and show why audience members picked the items that they picked. So that's enough about that. That's my super special project that I'm getting ready to work on. I would love for you to participate in it. And I'd love to hear your feedback on different items that I might want to add to that list. So if you go to the list, there's something you don't see that you'd like to send, drop a comment, I'll add it. I'll answer your comment by telling you that it's up, and you can go and get that item that you were looking for. Let's take care of my buddy Joey. Let's get him something cool together. All right, so I'm gonna spread out this rice, and then we're gonna put the chicken on top of that. Oh boy. Yeah, that chicken, that's not the best smelling stuff in the world. I hope that was not a mistake. Let's give it a little taste, just the chicken. See what we've got here, because it really does. It smells like pouch chicken. Okay, so it's not terrible. You can definitely tell it's low sodium variety. It does not have any kind of punch to it at all, but served warm, it's not bad. I feel like served cold, it might not be great, but heated up like this, I think that'll work. All right, let's get this Madras lentils out, add it to the mix, and it'll be time for lunch. This one is another one that's kind of soupy. It's kind of like a canned soup consistency. If you're making condensed soup before you add water to it, it kind of has that consistency, just a little bit runny. So let's pour this over. It's a lot of food. Look at that. That is so much food. So there's what we've got. Look at that plate. That really looks good. The Madras lentils smells really good. It's got a very fresh smell to it. Let me give this a try. I've got some of the lentils. I got one red bean. Let me grab another. Got 2 red beans. Let's give that a try by itself, see what we've got. That's yummy. For that to be a store brand, that's good stuff. Now I know that Store brands typically are packaged at the same place that do the national brands. So there's no reason that it should be bad, but I will say that I've had some store brand products that really aren't good. And I feel like that's because they're being filled with what's left over at the end of the day from the national brands. Maybe the stuff that didn't quite make the cut. So let's mix this up a little bit. Let's get our chicken, the rice, and the Madras lentils mixed in really good. Now keep in mind that within reason, we can just leave this in the pouch. It would be hard to put all that rice and everything in there, but we could add a little bit of the rice. We could add all the chicken into that pouch and just eat it straight out of the pouch if we needed to. Or we could take it and dump it all in this bag, mix it up and eat it. Let's give this a shot because I am hungry and this smells really good. I got a bite that has everything. I got a big old chunk of chicken. I got the Madras lentils and I got the rice. Y'all hearing that thunder out there? All right, let's give this a shot. Y'all. This may actually be the best tasting blend that I've found yet. When you take these vegetarian Indian meals, put them over rice, add a little bit of meat into it, it always tends to kind of elevate the meal a little bit. But this right here, this Target store brand Madras lentils, this is really, really good. Maybe it's the combination of the items, that brown and wild rice, adds a little bit of texture, adds a little bit of flavor. The Madras lentils already has an amazing flavor to it anyway. And that chicken is not bad. You know, I've said before, I'm not going to go out and buy the ingredients for this and make it and serve it to company. But if we're at the campsite and I make this, everybody around that campfire is going to be looking at me with their mouths hanging open and a little bit of drool coming out. Let them sit over there with their tuna pouch and their protein bar, and I'm going to eat Madras lentils with chicken and rice. There's a lot to love right here. That's good stuff. All right, let's wash that down. And while we get ready to try our dessert, don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and hit that notification bell so you can be made aware of all upcoming videos. Last but not least, we have our Bobo's apple pie stuffed oat bites. Now, these are relatively small. Seeing how small they are, I would probably recommend packing 2. Because this looks like one of those things that once I bite into this, if I like it, the fact that I've got only one other bite is going to make me mad. It's very spicy smelling. It's got that apple pie spice scent to it. All right, let's give that a try. I have a feeling this is going to be kind of like eating an apple crumble. That is exactly what this tastes like. Some of that apple crumble, apple brown Betty, whatever you want to call it. Apples, brown sugar, oats, butter. That's good stuff. Can you see the apple pie center right there? That's a good dessert choice right there. Now, the trick with Bobo's products is finding them with the right shelf life. I had to dig through a lot of stuff. And as soon as I saw these, I was saying prayers going, please, please, please let these have the right expiration date. I was really pleased to find that these were within the rules and that they are that good. That is really tasty. Yep, I like that. And a chaser. That chases well. All right, so that's it for our homemade MRE from Target. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. This one was a winner. Yeah, the pickles weren't the best, but they weren't bad. But everything else in here was an absolute winner. Don't forget to go down in the description box and check out Joey's Get Home Bag wish list. Looking forward to seeing what starts arriving on the doorstep in the next few days. You guys have always been super supportive of this channel by using the Amazon wish list. Let's do something cool for Joey. And with that being said, that's a wrap for this one. And until the next one, prepare for the world that you live in, not the one you wish existed. And we'll see you around.